Hey everybody, Zoe here. How do you eat? That is the question. And there's so many different theories about this. Some people say there's the keto diet, the paleo diet, the vegan diet, the vegetarian diet, the carnivore diet, the Atkinson diet, the Weight Watchers diet, the South Beach diet. What do you do? What do you think? Well, we're going to find out. We're going to answer those questions. Just stick around. We'll find out. How do you eat? Some people eat with a knife and fork. Some people eat with their hands. Some eat with no hands. Some eat with chopsticks. Let's discuss the different types of eating plans that have been around for years. They keep changing. People do research. They say, this is good for you, this is bad for you, and then it switches. So we need to answer these questions. Let's get down to it. But before we do that, please hit that subscribe button. I need you to help me grow this channel, and give me the thumbs up by hitting the like button. It helps the YouTube algorithm and it helps my channel out immensely. And I thank you for doing that. Now let's get started. At the end of this video, I'll tell you the diet I used to lose 35 pounds in 120 days and ended up losing a total of 50 pounds by the time I was done. The first question we want to answer is, when do we eat? Well, for generations and generations, we've had the 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that's the way it's always been. That's the way I grew up. In this hectic and chaotic world, breakfast usually gets skipped over. It's just a cup of coffee and toast or juice and out the door. And you basically starve till lunchtime. And then you have people that say you can't miss breakfast. That's the most important meal of the day. I agree with that. You shouldn't skip breakfast because you're kind of hungry throughout the morning, and instead of concentrating on your job, you're thinking about how hungry you are and looking forward to lunch and not really paying attention to your work. And on that note, some people kind of have gravitated toward eating one big, huge meal late in the day. And I don't really like that one either, because you end up tricking your body and it thinks that it's being starved, so it slows down the metabolism rate, and now you're not burning off the calories you should be burning off, and your body is storing food, and that's just not a good system. What I like doing is I like the 6 meals a day. And no, that doesn't mean you're eating twice as much as the 3 times. You just break it down into smaller meals or portions. Say you have a 3-course dinner in the middle of the day. Well, eat like the meat part or the sandwich part. Then a little bit later on, eat your 1 or 2 ounces of nuts or fruit or something like that. And then a little bit later, have a little bit more of something like maybe a cup of yogurt. And make sure it's real yogurt. Don't get the substitute yogurt or low-fat yogurt, because it's taking away the fats that your body needs. And your body does need fat. And we're going to get to this in a second with the pyramids. The 6 meal a day plan, I like it because it keeps a cyclical rhythm of your metabolism and burning off the calories, and I just feel that that's really a good way to go. Make your own decision. I'm not here to boss you around or tell you what to do. I'm just making a suggestion. I'm not a nutritionalist. I'm just a former athlete, and this is what has worked for me, and I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going to throw it out there for you. If you like this plan, you're welcome to it. It's free. All you have to do is remember to subscribe, hit the thumbs up. That's it. That's all it's going to cost you. I'm not selling any kind of diet plan or anything like that. And now let's move on to the different types of diet, because that's where we're really going to dig into this. For years and decades, there was the food pyramid. It started off with the very base. 40% of your diet should be bread and grains and pasta. And Then above that was fruits and vegetables. And then above that was meats, fish, milk, and eggs. And then above that was your fats, oils, and sugary type sweets. And that was the one that was around for decades. Then along comes the Mediterranean food pyramid. And I like this one a little bit better, but it included daily exercise and weight control. And I like that because it's adding in the idea of to stay healthy, you need to do more than just eat right. You need to exercise and move the body. And then from there you have the grains and the oils are kind of on the second tier of the pyramid. And then above that we go to the vegetables and fruits, and it's split, but both of those together make up the tier. And then we get into nuts and legumes, which is an added part. It's gotten more specific than the old traditional one. And then above that, we get to fish, poultry, and eggs. And as you see, you're going up the pyramid, each tier gets a little bit smaller, and we get more to the top, and we're now at the dairy and the supplements with the calcium. It's reduced that because on the traditional pyramid it was further down on a bigger tier. And then at the top we have the red meat and butter, and the grains are up there, but it's reduced a lot. The grains on the old traditional pyramid was at the bottom, where we were getting a much larger volume of the grains and pasta and things like that. So this has really redefined and reshaped how the pyramid is put together. Let's start with the Mediterranean diet. It comes out of Spain and southern France and Portugal. And the emphasis is a lot more on your plant-based foods, fruits as a dessert, beans and nuts and grains as the main source of dietary fiber. Cheese and yogurts are the main dairy foods, and they're at a smaller amount, and they're more up toward the top of the pyramid. This diet also includes fish and poultry, and about 4 eggs per week. You really want to reduce that because eggs are a huge factor in contributing to your cholesterol. And as we know, cholesterol can end up being a bad thing. I'm not going to go too much into that because that's a whole topic to itself, because there's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. But the point is that dairy is reduced and the amount of eggs you eat is reduced to about 4 a week, which is way, way different from that old country breakfast of 2 or 3 eggs every morning. Because in this diet, your breakfast routine changes a lot. You're going to have some of your grains, like maybe oats as in oatmeal, and fruit. Fruit's a great way to start the day. You've got your carbohydrate and your natural sugar in there. And the natural sugar is the one you want. One of the natural sugars that I like using a lot in my diet is honey. You just can't go wrong with honey. Ask Winnie the Pooh. The next diet that I want to mention is the zone diet. And that one's a new one to me. The aim of this diet is to reduce inflammation and encourage healthy insulin levels. Sounds like a good thing. It helps people keep their intake of protein and carbohydrates in a balance. And one of the things I've talked about before is that ratio of fats, carbohydrates, and protein. And I pretty much subscribe to 50% carbohydrates, 30% fats, and 20% protein. And this one seems to work with that framework. It doesn't go into too much detail about it, but it does promote the idea of having the healthy fats, antioxidants, including omega-3. The vegetarian diet. And that one pretty much sums it up. Vegetarian, it is excluding your meat products. You don't eat meat or fish, but you can continue to eat dairy products and eggs. And there's a lot of other ways to get the protein. So if a vegetarian way is the way you want to go, have at it. It's your decision, not mine. Just do pay attention to getting that balance that you need in that carbohydrate to protein to fat ratio. The next diet is the Atkinson's diet, and the way it works is it's an all meat and all fat. And the way this diet works is cutting out the carbohydrates and sugars and sweets, and thereby burning off the fat eventually, and the body is reducing its weight that way. The keto diet is very much like the Atkinson's diet, and again with it, it doesn't have the glucose coming into the body, so it begins to burn the fat instead. The vegan diet eliminates all animal products and byproducts totally. The next diet is the paleo diet, and I like to rename this one and call it the hunters and gatherers diet. This diet includes the meats, fish, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds that could be obtained by hunting and gathering. It eliminates the food that developed from modern farming. And what you need to avoid are the grains such as wheat and oats and barley, legumes, beans, lentil peas, peanuts, peas, and the dairy products, and most of all the refined sugar, salt, potatoes, highly processed foods in general. And as a rule, I am against the highly processed foods. This one's a little too strict for me, but I do like the idea of it. I don't think you can go wrong with this diet because it really is eliminating a lot of the things that I consider poisons that are in the highly processed foods that our modern food industry has decided that needs to be put in. And to me, that's just wrong. The next diet is the raw food diet. Now, I did this one for a little while, a few years back. I did a 30-day juicing. It started out with, it was going to be a 60-day originally, and when I hit the 30-day mark, I decided I was tired of being hungry all the time. You can drink 2 or 3 glasses of juice and you just still feel empty in the stomach. You're not getting the fiber or the bulk that fills up your stomach, and you just stay hungry all the time. So at the 30-day mark, I decided that instead of juicing, I would start eating the food products that I had been juicing. So I really didn't add any new things to my diet. I just started eating the food itself instead of running it through the juicer, thereby giving me the fiber and that satisfaction of something was actually going into my stomach. There's 3 types of the raw food diet. There's the raw vegan diet, which excludes all your animal products. You're sticking with that plant-based food. Then there's the raw vegetarian diet, which is your plant-based foods, but you can have raw eggs and unprocessed dairy products. And then there's the raw omnivorous diet that includes plant-based foods, raw animal products, and which you can have your smoked or dried meat. And I like that one, but when I was doing it, I was just doing the vegetarian one. Which one of these diets do I go by? I would have to say that I probably go by the Mediterranean the closest. Reason is I have incorporated the exercise into my daily habits. I don't do that much of the whole grains, except for maybe in the morning with the oatmeal. I do start almost all my days off with oatmeal. I sweeten it with the honey, which is a natural sugar. And for cooking, I do use olive oil or butter, but mostly olive oil. Every once in a while I do use butter. And I eat a lot of vegetables and fruits. I have that probably 2 times a day. Like I said, I start my breakfast with the oatmeal, and then later I'll have the fruit. And I do like having fruit for breakfast because that has the natural sugar in it also, and it does give a supply of energy. When it comes to the heavier things like pastas or rice, things like that, I think that should be a middle of the day type meal. Do not put those type items into your dinner or the last meal of your day. You're not going to burn it off because shortly after you eat, a couple of hours later, you go to sleep. So you don't burn off those calories. Nuts, I eat 2 ounces a day. When I was losing weight, I had that at 1 ounce. And once you do hit your target weight, you can change your diet a little bit. You don't have to have that reduced calorie intake. Eggs, I only do about once a week, maybe twice. I do appreciate a good omelet. Yep. And my dairy consumption is down very low. I don't put that much dairy in. It probably gets into my diet through the way of cheese. You gotta love a good cheese turkey burger or ham and cheese sandwich. And that brings up the bread. I try to reduce my bread a lot. Too much bread gets back to that empty calories. And get a good solid bread, a good sourdough. Don't get the enriched white bread that has all the nutrients removed from it. That's one thing that I'll talk about in another video, is about what kind of breads to eat. I'll go into more detail, and we'll talk about the difference between wheat and modern wheat. And modern wheat is not really a good wheat because it's been modified. And one of the things you want to stay away from in all of these diet items is your GMOs, because they don't mix correctly with the body and they can build up bad bacteria that's in your body. There's good bacteria and there's bad bacteria. So at the top of the pyramid is where the meat is on the Mediterranean diet, and it shares that top peak with the bread, pasta, potatoes, and sweets are up there too, but I totally eliminate that as much as possible. Some of these items have the natural sugars like the fruit, but the sugar you want to stay away from is your refined sugar, high fructose corn syrup. It's nothing but a poison. And that's a subject for another video also, is the sugar damage, the damage that sugar does to the brain and to the body. It is 8 times more addicting than cocaine. So think about that. It's just not good for the body unless you're getting it in the natural form through fruits and honey. And so that's basically my diet. I do supplement my diet with vitamins. I take a B complex. I feel that I get enough vitamin C through the natural foods, and I do take vitamin D and zinc for building the immune system. And the B complex covers a multitude of vitamins. The one I take also has vitamin C in there, so that's another reason that I don't take the vitamin C, because I'm getting plenty of it as it is. That's it for my diet. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, just leave it down in the comments. And if you haven't done it yet, please hit the like button, give me the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, join us. We have a good time. And I thank you for watching the video. And until next time, see you later.